guys, and welcome back to the channel. So this car is about 32 years old now, so it's quite old and things just keep wearing out on it, and that's common for a 30-something year old car. As you noticed in my previous videos, I've replaced tons and tons of parts on this car just to renew it and make it drive better. One of the common things that's overlooked is basically your door hinges. After 30-something years of opening and closing the doors, these things do wear out. So if you're experiencing any like door sagging, misalignments, difficulty closing the door, these can all be contributed to your door hinges because, like I said, they do wear out. So you have two options of fixing this. One is purchase OEM door hinges from Honda. They're still available because Honda uses the same hinge for a wide variety of their cars. Option two is basically buy a pin and bushing kit to replace the pin and bushing within each hinge. We're opting for option two because I purchased a kit on Aliexpress for $10 Canadian, which is very cheap, just to replace and refresh these doors. So we're just going to get right to it and install it. You're probably wondering which kit to get. Pick the one for EG spec because it's the same hinge. They use that same hinge for the EF as well. So we're just going to get right to it then. Alright guys, if you don't already know where your door hinge is, this is where they are. There's one on the top and one on the bottom. So it's a little bit difficult to see on the top one about where the pin is. You can kind of see it right back there, but you could probably see it clear down here on this bottom hinge right here. So you see that pin that goes right down. It's held on by a clip there, and then there's two bushings within each hinge. So you're going to basically remove the clip, punch this out, and then punch out the two bushings within here. I'll show you guys the bushing kit. Alright guys, this is the hinge pin kit for one hinge. I didn't want to pour everything out because I don't want to lose any pieces, but it comes with basically, for each hinge, it comes with one pin, two bushings, and two clips. So these bushings here are different sized, one's smaller and one's bigger, so just make sure you remember that. And the clips go up onto the top of the pin. So this is basically what we're going to be installing. It doesn't look overly difficult. It's a pretty simple kit. The only thing that's difficult is removing the existing hinge. You're going to need some way of supporting the door, so maybe jack and some towels or something like that so that you don't scratch anything, as well as you're going to need a helper holding the door. I'm also going to stuff a whole bunch of towels over here because it's really close to the rocker. In case the door falls, you don't want to be dinging up your rockers. All right, first thing, I'm going to remove this pin. All you're going to do is just hammer this out and it just comes right out. All right, next, you see that clip right there? We're going to remove that clip. Probably going to be using like needle nose pliers or a screwdriver or something just to push that C-clip out of the way. All right, so I removed the two clips. Got to basically push with two screwdrivers and push them out side by side. Now basically got to get a punch or something and knock the pin down, and this one will knock the pin up. So then we're going to compare the pins, and then we're going to have to slide the door out to get the bushings out. All right, so here's the old pin versus the new pin. It looks about the same. Maybe the mounting points are a little bit different, just by a little bit. Not sure if you can tell, but I don't think that's going to impact it too much. The stock pin is a little bit longer. All right, next step is you got to be real careful and slide it away from the door so that they disconnect. The bushings are in here. So the bushings are inside here. You see one on the top and one on the bottom. You're going to punch those out. So when you separate it from the door, make sure you have somebody holding the door. I've got it supported on the jacks, but we did unfortunately ding up the rocker panel around here. There's a little chippy here. All right, so here's the four bushings removed. Just to give you an idea of how weak these things are, I just tried to pry it and it just snapped. All right, to install the new bushings, basically I rigged this up. It's like a press. So you're just going to press one on top, like basically like this. So I set it up like this. Make sure you have the right bushing on the right side because the big one goes onto one of the specific sides. All right, so upon trying to install these, I noticed that the diameter of this smaller end bushing is actually too small. So if you put this in, it's loose in here. So that does not fit. However, the bigger one does fit. So I'm just going to be replacing the bigger side and reusing the smaller side. So it's going to be the same on the other side of the door. I'm not going to be replacing the smaller ones then. This really sucks. Alright guys, as you notice, I have my door off. I had to remove the doors to get these hinges back. I tried really hard with my girlfriend to slide the door back on, but because of the new bushing is thick, it made it very difficult to slide back on. So the bottom bushing, which is the bigger side, is the new bushing, and the smaller side is the old bushing. You can see slight little bit of a gap there, but there's not much I can do because the new bushing doesn't fit, only the bigger one fits. So they machined these things all wrong, I guess. But yeah, now I'm gonna have to remove the fender and the bumper just to reinstall the door. So it's a pain in the ass, so I'm gonna have to do that. All right guys, so I have to remove the whole front end as I mentioned earlier. And now the door is off. I had to have my girlfriend help me remove the door. So now I'm gonna show you guys how to really remove these pins with the door wide open. This is probably the easiest method. You have to remove your entire front end and then remove the door first. So this is the easiest way to actually replace these pins. All right, so in order to remove this little C-clip in here, or E-clip, you just use 2 flathead screwdrivers and you just push and it'll come out. It'll probably flick somewhere, but it'll come out. And there's one on the top here and another one on the bottom down here as well. Now to remove this pin, basically just whack it out. Since the E-clip is out, this will just come right out. So we're just gonna get a hammer, and sometimes you might need a punch or extension of some sort. I used extensions a lot, but I think this should be pretty easy. Like that, and just comes right out. It's probably easier if I get a punch. So you can punch it all the way through afterwards with just a punch, light taps, and there you go, falls right out. And there's the pin. Next, you just wiggle this out, and then you see there's 2 little bushings on the inside here. You just got to get a punch and punch these out. All right, so next we're going to basically be whacking out the bushing. Like I said, we're only replacing the bigger side, so make sure you only punch out the bigger side. But if you have the same size bushing for both sides, and replace both sides. But this is how I'm going to be doing it. You get a socket, basically cover up the end here, so it just covers up. So when you whack this bushing out, it'll just fall into this socket. This is a 16mm socket. Just find one that fits. Then you kind of go in here from the top, and you kind of get it on the edge with the punch, and you just kind of whack. And as you can see, part of it already kind of divvied out and it's already spaced, if you can see. So now we just use the punch to punch out the rest of it. Another trick is that you could get something that fits this hole and just hold it there and just punch that in. I do have a spacer. So you can use a little spacer. This is basically what holds your e-brake cable kind of thing. So I had spares of these. This fits perfectly in that hole. So you could have it in here holding like it in, once you get the hole a little bit out, and then you put it in here and then you just whack it from the top, and this will punch it right out. Just like that. As you can see, bushing's out. Next, basically you're gonna replace it with the brass bushing. So this new one, it should just go right in. As you can see, you can just push it in almost, well, not fully. So once you kind of get it there, you can punch this in with the old pin, essentially. So you hold it on top, careful, and just a couple whacks until it's flush. There you go, it's flush and it's in there. That's the new brass fitting. And then you can reinstall with the new pin. So make sure you install it the right way. So it goes in basically this way. And this is what I'm talking about while you need the doors off. There's absolutely no way you can smack that in with the doors dangling. So you can see how tight this is. There you go. And then we're going to install the new pin. So here's the new pin. So basically it goes from top, bottom up. and you're just gonna whack it in there. Whoops. So let's have this twisted a little bit, align it up. So it goes up, and then you use the old pin as a guide, and just like that. It's installed. Next, you're gonna put one of the C-clips on here. I know they come with 8 C-clips, new ones, but you only need one to hold it on top. That's how the OEM one is like. So here's the C-clip, and to push this on is pretty simple. You just put it on here, and you can just push on it, and there you go, it's clipped in. So now we're going to do this bottom side as well. So this is all in now. You can see it's nice and tight. Probably need to put some lubricant on here, but there's really no movement here. So your door hinge is like new now. And there you go. Door hinges are in. And you can see that it is nice and tight. Way tighter than before. And there won't be any movements. So if you have any door sag and stuff, this could be the reason for it. So that's basically how you would install these pins. Alright guys, that's basically it all greased up. Greased it up with some white lithium grease. This stuff sticks on real well from Honda. So there you go guys, that was the install for the hinge pins. It was a more complicated install than I thought it would be. Had to remove the whole front end to get to the doors. Not to mention, I kind of ruined my new paint job because I scuffed up the fenders. I also scuffed up the doors, chipped the doors. I dropped one of the doors. I dropped the driver door. So there's a bend on the corner of the door now. So for replacing my hinges, that really did nothing because it feels exactly the same as before. So there was really nothing wrong with my hinges. But you know, if you guys are going through this, there's probably going to be something wrong with your hinges for you to actually be attempting this install. The reason why I did it is because I felt that the driver door might be sagging a little due to the fact that it's not lining up to the body of the car. I managed to get it to line up by adjusting the striker, but then I have to slam the door really, really hard for it to close. And I didn't want to do that, so I readjusted it back. I'm sure the driver door was probably bent at some point in time. Maybe somebody tried to break in. There was a lot of body filler on that door when I was doing the body work on it, so doesn't surprise me. It's a 30-something-year-old car. But that was the install, guys. I hope this helps you guys out. If you haven't already, please comment, like, and subscribe, and share my videos. As always, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.